Yo everyone, Wagwan, Sanjae here. So we're continuing the fall anime season with episode 2 of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. And honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really hoping that the story continues to improve, build on top of each other with, every episode. So yeah, we had a strong outing with the prologue in episode 1. So I'm like, yeah, hopefully. And to be honest, what I'm looking forward to the most is once we really dive into the things that really connect back to the prologue, because I think even though these first two episodes, well, the prologue and this first episode were pretty decent outings, I don't think things are gonna really skyrocket until we really start connecting things back to the prologue. So it is what it is. Episode 1 was kind of feels like more like set up to build up towards that point, so it is what it is. Anyway, hope you guys are having an awesome Sunday. Leave a like and your thoughts on this episode in the comment section below, and of course it would definitely help me out if you hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to something. Let's get right into it. See, same thing man say. In terms of the Gundam being present now can cause issues. See, exactly. Well, we kind of finished duel already still. So, yeah. See, there are no problems because of the Gundam. Ah boy, things just kind of spiral out of control already. Everybody in the school has caused gossip and all the foolishness already. Interesting. Would he be a good candidate for our dear Sueletta? Can't mess with the tomatoes now. Yeah, crucial. Obviously, this Shinsei Development Corporation is just like a ruse. Yeah, it just might be a ruse to kind of cover up her mother's involvement. Ooh, opportunity, but I left Sueletta like that. Alright, come on, want to see who the Shinsei representative really is now. Because the thing is now, probably we can get some insight into why Dellings was so extreme in getting rid of the Oxford people. Oh jeez, so we finally have the masked man. Well, I mean, I'm assuming this is the masked person for this series, given the mask. But I mean, that might be just maskist, if I'm being honest. Yeah, but I guess we'll see. Because I'm still saying Mirin might become the masked woman at some point. God, like the nervousness, I don't know, I kind of find it cute.
Sueletta Mercury. 君のことをもっと知りたい。
これより審問会を始めます。はされていません。
従来のパーメットリ
I mean, it seemed like it's a way for Prosperity go around the thing, essentially. Like the standard of like all the factors in identifying what a Gundam is to, you know, the Bernadette group here. Like she's like kind of exploiting like a loophole, it seems.
リンクを元にした操作技術です。グループの技術条項にも沿ったものと自負しています。
それだけでガンダムでないとは言えないわ。
認めてください。我々にはグループの支援が必要なのです。
Not a fair mother.
いや、あれはガンダムだ。
なぜでしょう。
私がそう判断。
Once because I said so, fam.
あんた王様。
そうだ。
Man said, yeah, bro, I am the king.
力がある。お前にはない。力のない者は黙って従うのがこの世界のルールだ。
進めば2つ。だったら決闘よ。
Watch out.
私たちが勝ったらあんたはスレッタを私の婚約者として認める。負けたら好きにすればいい。もちろんです。
勝手にアテドラルの協約を破る人。私は反対だ。
Why the politics is at play right now. Alright, so that was episode 2, and to be honest, it went as well as I would have personally wanted it to, honestly, because given the, you know, the information that we've been presented with from the prologue and how episode 1 ended, my like the obvious conclusion to me from episode 1, and I said it in my reaction review, was that now that this Gundam is on school premises, what happens when the powers that be actually start spreading word and the powers at the top of the, you know, the ladder like find out? And naturally and logically, that's what we got here in episode 2, as Aerial and Sueletta are basically confiscated and, you know, put in lockup until some kind of, you know, clarification can be made from the Shinsei Development Corporation, who's, you know, on paper the company that actually sent Sueletta here from Mercury. So I like where this is going. And while, you know, the school setting is nice and all, you know, I like it, at the end of the day, this is like a traditional Gundam. So if the school isn't going to get destroyed by the end of episode 1, you have to add more, you know, meat, more substance to, you know, Sueletta being there on the school premises and engaging in these duels. You know, you have to have some kind of weight behind it. And by the end of this episode, this is where I guess this is what we got when it comes on to at least the powers that be and the, you know, the political conflict behind her. Well, seeing obviously and based on the opening and based on the ending of this episode, of course we'll more like get Sueletta back on Mercury, but at least now, not Mercury, sorry, back in the school, but at least now we have some more weight to her actually being there, until we kind of find out what happened between her, the prologue, and episode 1. So yeah, so I think that's like the major positives when it comes on to this episode. So let's break it down even further, right? Of course, yeah, we have Sueletta and the Gundam Aerial being put in lockup. So that was one thing. One thing I did identify with this episode is that I mean, it was somewhat, I think, probably implied from episode 1 and more so, you know, the prologue, but there seem to be some tensions between, say, Spatians and Earthians in terms of, I guess, even if it's like social tensions, there seems to be something there, at play, because even with the students that were in the cafeteria, that girl that helped out Sueletta in terms of giving her the students notepad or whatever the case may be, you know, you heard the characters, you know, make mentions of, you know, Spatians holding them down. So I'm kind of interested to see where that goes, if it's going to be the whole cliche, you know, just Urshans versus Spatians when it comes on to Gundam. But I think that's just another plot point, the plot thread that needs to be explored as we go along, and I think we'll get that more than likely. Now, as I said, I did love the fact that logically they followed through on, you know, Sueletta and the Gundam being confiscated, because it would make no sense, and I think it would break the the narrative that you're trying to tell us if that wasn't the case. Because of course we had this whole debacle, this whole extreme set of actions by Dellings in the prologue, and we established this whole thing in terms of Gundams being outlawed. So it would just make no sense if that wasn't the logical course of action with this episode. So that was good. And again, side note, I'm just saying, Suella's nervousness, definitely definitely a plus there. And of course we continue, I believe his name was Elan Ceres, his interest in Sueletta from, you know, seeing it by the end of episode 1, seeing her perform by the end of episode 1. So that was cool. I'm wondering if the writers are kind of, you know, sewing little threads there when it comes on to the dynamic between her and Celeste. I did love the scene of her just crying while she's eating. Again, more of the show don't tell in terms of her character. It just shows that even though she's like badass when she's in the Gundam, it's I think it really paints a realistic picture of this character that's socially awkward coming into the situation and being in jail, and this one person shows kindness and it's like, ugh, she just has to break down. So I definitely thought that was a plus in terms of just the character dynamic right there. So yo, I'm just saying. I think what the big elephant in the room as well is the dynamic between Miorine and Sueletta. Now, I made mention that I personally felt that persons might have had a problem with the whole, you know, potential, you know, lesbian, bisexual dynamic, based on what Miorine was saying by the end of episode 1, in the sense that I think persons may have felt that it would take away from the main narrative, the main substance of the show, and just solely, well, not solely, but, you know, focus on it to like the the detriment of the actual plot. But as we can see here, it's like the writers know what they're doing based on what I'm seeing, obviously, because by the start of this episode we see that boom, we address it right away that, you know, she, for the most part, it seems like it's going to go along the lines of what most persons are predicting. This whole quote-unquote engagement is just going to be a way for Miorine to express her way of doing what she wants to do instead of obeying her father, essentially, an expression of her freedom that she hasn't had since childhood, it seems, based on her, you know, dialogue with her father in this episode. I mean, this man says he's the king, I just make the rules, you obey, fam. So it seems like that is really and truly going to be the case, because at the start we have Miorine saying, yo, yeah, the holder, my father made the rules, I gotta marry the holder, but that's not going to be the case. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to find a way to actually go to Earth. So for the most part, the engagement is just a way for her to, you know, get away from doing things how her father wants, but not necessarily, at least I know, again, not necessarily, yo, she's going to be with Sueletta. And, you know, yeah, so I'm glad they addressed that, and we quickly move to the whole political aspect of, you know, adding weight to the whole narrative right now. Now, as we see, we have Lady Prospera, our mask character, who I'm probably suspecting might be Sueletta's mom, maybe. And we get a better idea of the situation on Mercury in terms of, as Prospera says, the whole magnetic fields kind of cause physical harm to the persons there. So the drone technology that she alleged drone technology that's been used in the development of Aerial is kind of useful in actually, you know, developing themselves and surviving there on Mercury. So that was interesting, an interesting world building tidbit, if it is genuinely true, that is, because I'm still saying maybe to a degree it's true, but to a degree I'm still thinking things are this whole Shinsei Development Corporation thing is being used as a front to actually hide the fact that, things are being really developed there on Mercury to stage a comeback against the Benerit group and, make a change in space. As, even forgot who said it, but there was a character in this episode that was saying that, space needs a change in terms of its rules. So, there's these little tidbits that are connecting slowly but surely. And of course, by the end of the episode, we have the Benerit Group Council kind of deliberating how best to deal with this whole Gundam situation. And we see that they're just conflicting interests in terms of, the business aspect. Some members want Dylan to accept a duel from his daughter as a way to have the Gundam essentially continue to have duels in the school, so we can find a way to get market shares for the various different subsections of the Benerit group to improve. Some persons are focused on ethics, so it's multifaceted. There's a lot of different factors going into things, and probably the impression of things being just chill, this whole school chill Yu-Gi-Oh! GX vibe, and we're gonna be cool, fam, you see me? It's quickly thrown out the window by adding this political, business, social, the typical Gundam type of deal in terms of factors, adding that weight behind it. So to me it seems like, we'll have Sueletta probably draw with whatever mobile suits they'll send up against her in this coming duel, more probably. And then we'll have that additional weight of, why she's on Mercury in the school conducting duels. So all in all, I thought it was a brilliant expansion on what we got from episode 1 in terms of just going from a nice outing with the first episode to really adding the necessary weight to, really engage the viewer in terms of there's a number of things going on going forward, and this is just not going to be your chill walk in the woods type of watching experience. So loved it. Anyway, I rambled on long enough. It was an awesome episode, definitely loved it. I'm still looking to get more insight into why Dellings has such a problem with the Gundams, apart from what it was mentioned in the prologue in terms of, people should kill people, not machines kill people. I need more insight, but all in due time, I suppose. Anyway, Sanjae, Uchiha, let me know what you thought about this episode of Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury. Leave a like, subscribe, we're on our way to something, as I said. And your thoughts just generally of this episode and the reaction review. Sanjae, Uchiha, see you guys in the next Gundam fight.